On your back.
Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter. Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter. Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the We2r Liberians Movement Platform, your distinct and dynamic platform that speaks to and for the masses. We are not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers. Rather, we're in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, but even around the world. It's good to be here tonight or today, this evening, this morning, wherever you are in and around the world. We've had a series of shows, but tonight we have with us one of our guest panelists, who is no other but the illustrious Mr. Nathaniel Herron. It's good to have you in studio tonight. We're going to be discussing a topic I think that's really is of vital importance to our community, to our country, to our well-being, and to our general populace when it comes to Liberian. And this topic is no other but environment isn't just a place; it's a mindset. That's what we want to talk about. And I think on the back end, we talked about it a little bit. But welcome to the show, Mr. Nathaniel Herron. The podium is now yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. C. Ayiti Williams, always playing host, for having me. This is a very interesting topic, and I hope it will be able to bring some insightfulness to our people and our community. And we will be able to at least transform the thought process of some of our young men or some of our people into a better place for them to think positively. So it's a pleasure of you bringing me on board. I feel very honored and privileged to be part of this worthy discussion. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you again for coming to share time and space with us. So tonight, I know on the back end we talked about this. My encounter with this young man who, we begin to have a conversation based off of the question that he asked me as to where in America is the best place to live when you first come to America. I think my response to the kid was, it doesn't matter where you live, but what's really important is for the most part, because you can live anywhere. But mindset is crucial to living a better life and to succeeding in any society, any environment. And what we talked about first, we said that we're talking about environment because a lot of times we feel as though that the environment is a place. It's just a place, a house, a particular geographical location. And what I told him was, mindset is not just a place sometimes. But for the most part, I think mindset it starts with the mind. Mindset the environment. Excuse me. Let me go back to what I said to him. I said that you can live anywhere in the States. It doesn't matter. And to be successful, it starts with your mind. So your mindset, in fact, is the most important environment that you have to deal with in order to succeed. So on that note, and tonight, on the back end, we talk about it. And now that you're here on the platform, I want to hear from you, your perspective on that, because I know we all have our own personal experiences coming to this country. You have your story, I have my story to tell. So tonight, I want us to, kind of dive a little bit deep into this. I know the show is going to be a little bit brief. We'll do maybe 30 minutes to an hour. But what can you say about this? Because I know we talk about it, and I told the kid that, look, I walk this walk, and that's why I can talk the talk. Yes. Because I have my experience. I was actually helped. Came to this country, for the most part, didn't even have any family, didn't know where to start. But because of the foundation that I had, I was able to, do one or two. I would just say that which our Liberian people can understand. And here I am today. I'm not saying that I'm up there, but I was able to get myself to a place where I am able to sustain myself. So I just want you to dive a little bit into the topic. What would you say to a kid who is just coming and post that question to you? What would you say? And this kid wants to know where in the States, in the United States of America, is the best place to live in
Well,
order to succeed. Just coming from Liberia.
yes, I would give at least a brief synopsis of my understanding of macro environment. It's a very interesting topic. If someone just came from probably Africa or other parts of the world and ask you such a pointed headed question, for example, where's the best part of the United States to live? This is an intriguing topic and question. Looking at the environment of the mindset, you can say there are other natural factors that may influence it. The way you think, the way you process it will enable you to at least make that decision as to where you consider to be the best place. Like I said, there are natural forces that influence the environment. You look at job opportunities, you look at economic power, you look at, civil unrest, political upheaval. There are so many factors, but once your mind is set at a certain place to say, you know what, I have a set goal. This is what I hope to accomplish. It really doesn't matter where you reside in the United States. And don't get me wrong. Like I said, there are natural forces that influence decisions. But once your mind is concentrated at a particular thing to do, you will not be distracted because all other things will be secondary. The mind, as the people usually say, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. You cannot waste thinking on negativity. You need to get rid of the negative thoughts. Like the way you rightfully said, everybody has their own personal experience. When I first came to the United States, I used to be around the Philadelphia area, but I was predisposed to the notion that Philadelphia was a rough and tumble environment to learn. It was somehow toxic if you wanted to have learned and decided to reside in Philadelphia, which of course reality belies such an argument. But at first, when I came to the United States, that's all I was told, and I somehow subconsciously believe in it. And so I decided to move to another state, to Detroit, Michigan, and I was able to accomplish at least certain level of education. But the very Philadelphia that other people despised, and to be quite honest with you, I do have some seizures of conscience, and I must admit today that I feel guilty because I was one of those that looked down upon Philadelphia at a certain point in time, looking at my contemporaries, because most of my friends at the time, they did not take education seriously. So I was like, these guys they were just having fun in Philadelphia. But when I made up my mind to move to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, my mind was focused on education, despite the fact that the environment I was living in, it has some natural influences on my thought process, my way of doing things, the way I conduct myself. But again, I had my head on the swivel and I knew what I wanted. And I remained right in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Despite the fact all of the distractions, I was able to acquire my first degree, and I went for postgraduate degree and another postgraduate degree. And this is where I am. I stay around the Philadelphia area, even though I'm in Dover, Delaware, which of course is not far away from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So the biggest thing is to first of all work on your mindset. Once you work on your mindset, all other things are temporary. Set your priorities. So the question the kid asked you, Mr. C. Ayiti Williams, which part of the United States would be best for me? It was a very excellent point that you raised and that you gave him. You told him the environment of your mind is what really, really important. The topic says environment isn't just a place. It is a mindset. Very intriguing. So I hope that kid, if the kid is listening right now, my advice to him, it doesn't matter. Again, I will not be oblivion to the fact that your environment does not have some influence on you. I previously stated there are some natural forces that influence your decision. I get that. But once you are focused, it doesn't matter where you live in these United States, you'll be able to reach that higher height that you so desire.
So then, because I mean, I want to be strategic with this conversation because the question came with from a kid who really he lives in the Southwest Philadelphia area, and I know just like you alluded to, there's been a lot said about the Philadelphia area. I mean, there's a lot of distractions here and there, but there's a lot of pluses, I would say,
Oh,
and that
yes.
would be because of what I told the kid. My contribution or what I told him, I said there's schools in Philadelphia. There's not only academic, you can do academics. You can go to trade school, you can go to vocational school. You can, if you don't want to even maybe pursue higher education, you can also just work. You know
Hmm?
what I mean? And then align yourself with the right people because sometimes going to the classroom really doesn't make you successful. But knowledge is important. So you can move if you wanted to move to North Dakota because I know this kid is struggling. I mean, to ask the question means that he's probably being talked to and is being influenced by people maybe in and out of state that no, you can't stay around here because if you stay in this area, you may not be able to succeed. But my thing is now you, Herron, why during your stay here in the Philadelphia area, what were some of the challenges that you encountered, and what can you say to a young man who's coming now? Because sometimes the experiences we will have would differ. Some of the experiences you may have experienced will be not having a place to stay. Another guy will have a place to stay. What I mean? Will have a job, but the downside he may have is that he can't find a job because he's just coming, and so he wants to make that change, or he feels left behind because he have a host of friends that he knew before. They are far ahead. What would be your advice to a kid who is struggling with such?
Well, we all are faced with life challenges. There's no way that you can go with all you confronting life challenges, but you must be guarded with wisdom, courage, and equanimity. These distractions will always be there. The most the most introspective thing to do based upon my personal experience of social conscience is for you to surround yourself with positive mindset of people. Choose your friends. Know who you hang out around with. Know places you go. Again, not everyone may have that willpower to resist, reject, and repudiate with utter decency some of the bad things and bad influence. Not everyone's strong enough to resist it. So what you can do is to surround yourself with positive people. Think positively. That way it will help to influence you. But do not take it for granted to say, well, life is easy and I will not be faced with challenges. There's no part of the world that you will go that there would not be a life challenge for you. But your ability to overcome these life challenges, that what sets you apart from other people. So the very kid that you talk about, my advice to him to say surround yourself with positive people, think positively, know your surroundings, know where you are at all times. And once you do these positive things, every other thing going to fall in place. I used to be in Philadelphia. I hang out once in a while when I was in Philadelphia during my young age. there were so many temptations. You used to go all over in basement party. Obviously, Mr. Ayiti, you might be aware of some of these things. We used to go to basement parties. We're looking for chicks. I'm sorry to say that because
No, it's not a big deal. It's not a big
yeah,
deal. It's a reality.
yeah. We looking for chicks. Sometimes at the end of school, we go to the various high schools to pick up our girlfriends from there. And back in those days, the more chicks you have, the more repertoire you build for yourself. Your friends look at you with distinction. Be like, damn, this guy has maybe morale, or this guy is a top notch. So the distraction will always be there. So what you need to do in order to avoid such a distraction is to just keep your mind set on the goal that you want to accomplish or achieve. If you do that, trust me, you will be well off. Things will be better for you. But if you allow yourself to be overwhelmed with lots of good things or good time, hanging out with friends, bad friends that have bad influence, going to party, not doing your homework, sooner or later you will see yourself by the roadside. So my advice to that kid: one, surround yourself with positive mindset of people. Two, watch your surrounding, know where you're going and when you're going there. Stay out of trouble and just keep your head on the swivel. You know your aims, you know your objective, you know what you hope to accomplish. Once you set your priorities, if you accomplish those things, there's no time that it's too late for you to play fun. Right now, relatively, I am accomplished with wife and kids and the rest of it. I can go out. I don't have to worry about doing homework. I did it. It's not late for me. When I was young, of course, I concentrated on my schoolwork. I concentrated on my goals. Right now, I consider myself to be accomplished. I didn't miss anything back then. I'm not missing anything now, and I will not miss anything tomorrow. I can still go ahead and have fun. So that's my advice to the kid.
Okay, thank you for that contribution. So now that I'm pretty sure that this kid who was asking the question going back to the kid. I think he's level-headed. The fact that he would ask such a question, because not too many kids of his age group will even ask the question. It's just like being in a classroom, and you have an instructor teaching. You realize that those who would be asking questions in the class, to an extent, they're trying to understand. They grasp maybe something from what the teacher is teaching, and so they want to get a little bit more insight, right?
Yes.
So the kid who normally kids who would just sit in the classroom and don't ask questions, you know what I mean, it means they really don't really, I may be wrong to an extent, but most time they may not be understanding what's going on, one, or two, they just don't have interest in what's going on. But when you see people asking questions, being inquisitive, it means that there's a reason why, because they want to know. They're probably struggling with decision making, and so they trying to ascertain to gain some facts and experiences that people went through. And that's why, I always go back and use the good book as a reference to say, as a man thinker of himself, so is he. Everything that we do starts in the mind. We want to tell our kids because what you came to the country again. We'll go back again to say this. You moved to California. Maybe you wanted to be an artist, or you wanted to be a musician, something along those lines. You say, oh, my man, maybe you have to move down to Atlanta, Georgia, or you have to move to New York, or you have to go to California, because your chances of being an artist, or being a musical artist, I'll say, or maybe a movie star, you may not succeed in this environment. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I got you.
But on a more holistic note, the reason why I was saying that, everything starts with your mind, your mindset, because you keep saying environment, is actually, one would say, the environment will have impact, and it's true, because I had some struggles myself when I came, because I was fairly young too. I came, too much was going on in the Southwest area. You want to fit in, you want to be part of what's going on. So I wanted to stay in Philly, but I had my ups and downs. I had a lot of pitfalls. I had to find my way into in fact, when I first came, they wanted me to do GED, but I already graduated at that time. I mentioned that In the short, yeah, they wanted me to do my GED, and then before I get,
And I'm not cutting you, Mr. Williams, but at that time you must have already gotten your at least high school certificate. Pretty much, you were out of high school.
I was a high school graduate. So
High school graduate, and they were demanding that you do GED.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead, go to the community college, try to sit for a placement test. And the thing is, there's a whole lot. Even when I sat down for the placement test, Herron, I was placed. I didn't even know where I was placed. I only wanted to be in school. So because there are prerequisites to the college, for actual college courses. So maybe you have a 0.98. Some of us, we took some of those courses. You know what I mean? But later on realize that even when we sat for the test, we probably were around English 101. Maybe you already passed 1 or 2. But the longer you stay in these community colleges, the more money they make. So those are some of the things we think we want to bring to the table, where we can talk to our young men and young women who are coming to let them know. And I think truth telling is important, because a lot of us, we don't tell the true story.
Yes.
We want to make it seem like, oh yeah, I came, and you know what, I did this and did that. In fact, besides the school, there were jobs that we did. We came because human services was so prevalent. It was the job that, a lot of us saw, so we got into the area. Yep. So then, my question to you, Herron, because there are other areas now. You talk about our time, but we are living in a whole different time now.
Yes.
Information technology time. A lot of kids that you're seeing that are coming now is about the material, what you can get, because people have been measured by how much money you have in your bank account, how much, the cars that you have, or what you've built, and things, the acquisition wealth. Again, what can you say? Because we're going by the same thing with environment. Because you got almost like trying to catch up and fitting. What's your perspective on that note?
Well, as a result of technological advancement, the world is changing. Like the way you rightfully said, during our days is different from these times. You can use technology to your advantage. You can also use it to your disadvantage. You have a bunch of social media, which of course is another distracting force. If you spend most of your time on social media listening to gossips and probably irrelevant things that will not have any impact on your life, it's just a waste of time. So my advice to this kid here is, look, our time was quite different, and we had our own distracted movement at the time. But back in those days, we never experienced the technological advancement that is now being prevalent all around us. Back in those days, we used to go to the library to go do research work. Right now, you don't necessarily have to go to the library. In fact, library, I'm so sorry to academician, but library right now, it seems to be somehow extinct, or somehow is becoming obsolete. Again, I'm not trying to look down upon the library, but as a result of technological advancement, everybody uses smartphone. So if you want to do research, you don't have to go to the library to burn resources such as putting gas in your car. You just sit right there and do the research work right there. Plagiarism, of course, is an academic crime. So if you're using technology to make progress in school, you should be careful how you do your research, because you can be charged for plagiarism. If you're using someone's work, you must give the person credit. So there's a whole lot of, in fact, there's a big difference between our time that we were in school as compared to this time. So this young kid that we're talking about that just came from Africa and maybe doing all jobs. We all did all jobs in this place here. For me, I worked a lot. I was security guard, for example. And even when I was going to Temple University, I was still security guard. And luckily for me, I was assigned on campus. And at a certain point in time, because I used to go to work around 11 o'clock p.m. and get up just around 8 o'clock. And my first class was, I think, 8:30 in the morning. So I only had 30 minutes to prepare. So as a result, when I'm going to work, I'm gonna put in what you call surveillance clothes in the bag. And when I get off work 8 o'clock, I just go in the bathroom. I had toothbrush with me, toothpaste and toothbrush. I just go in the bathroom and brush up and use some roll arm or deodorant, and I go straight to class. I never had time. And if my relief comes to work late, I'm screwed. I'll be all on the phone. So These are all challenges of life. But the good thing about it, right now, you have technology to your advantage. So this kid that we're talking about, you have so many positive things going in your direction. The question that you ask is not a bad question. You say, which environment you think will be okay for me to be in order at least to have the acquisition of knowledge that I'm looking for. And Mr. C, Ayiti Williams told you should begin the process with your mindset, the environment of your mind. That's what very, very important. The environment isn't just a place.
Yes. It's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
So Herron, then let me pivot a little bit. And the read one, I want to add this too, because I know we've been focusing heavily on academics, but let's also look at the social side where, a lot of times people put a disdain on the area. They've not come to realize that the Philadelphia or Pennsylvania area is old. It's an old state, right? Let's say Philadelphia. If you travel north, the northern part, you see that there are better areas. You know what I mean? And I think in the short, I also talk about zip code redlining, where we judge people to say, oh, if you live in a certain part of the area, then you're not doing well. Almost like, these people.
Mr. William, I'm sorry, and I hope you don't lose your train of thought. You talk about zip code or alignment or lining, whatever.
Redlining.
Yeah, redlining.
Yeah.
It's just some of the challenges of life. It's just some of the challenges of life. For example, Ayiti, if you want a car insurance right now, the insurance company, the very first thing they're going to ask you, what is your zip code? Ayiti, you from Southwest Philadelphia, I'm from Southwest Philadelphia. If you tell the insurance agent, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's any insurance agent that listening to this podcast, you can call me. My number is 215-730-3616. You can call me and make some correction. For Southwest Philadelphia, 19142.
Yeah.
If you're from that area, your insurance code will be quite different from somewhere and someone who lives in different localities. So the zoning redlining you talk about, and environment redlining you talk about, it's a fact. It's just part of life, whether fairly or unfairly. They have some people that live in Southwest Philadelphia. I'm sorry for diverting our conversation, but I just want to give an analogy with your environment based upon what you are just talking about. Redlining. Someone from all the way in the suburb, better zip code, that person's insurance policy will be cheaper, but at a fair level playing scale. Considering the same insurance policy or insurance quote, they ask you, where do you live? If you give a specific zip code, they look at the weather pattern in that zip code. Whether they always have thunderstorm, whether they have hurricanes in that area, whether they have inclemental weather in that place, whether the roof will do some heavy wind will come and just remove your roof. So the high risk, based upon that, your premium will be higher than the other man who does not experience anything like that. Again, I'm from Southwest Philadelphia. I have property in Southwest Philadelphia. We all grew up in Southwest Philadelphia. I'm not trying to look at Southwest Philadelphia differently, but Southwest Philadelphia is a rough and tumble environment. It comes with lots of challenges. That's the point I just wanted to make. So this kid here, you should understand the environment, the physical environment. The physical environment, you should understand the physical environment has some natural forces, and I made that very, very clear. And that's why we are telling you that the environment isn't just a place, but a mindset. So process it in your brain. Process it in your brain to say, despite the fact my physical body is in Southwest Philadelphia, but my entire mind is in different environment. You have the power to reshape the way you think. That's the point I wanted to raise, sir.
Good. And Herron, the point I'm making, thank you for your, that contribution. The point I'm trying to make here is, because I want us to stay in context, where the kid may be influenced by an outsider saying that, look, you got to move out of Philly, maybe move to North Dakota, maybe move to California, or move to Minnesota because you probably get a job to pay more and this and that. But the point I'm trying to make, and one of the reasons why I brought this mindset is everything, because Muhammad Ali there's a quote. He says that I hated every moment that I had to train, but I said to myself, suffer now, live the rest of my life a champion. So the first thing I'm trying to tell this kid is that, look, you have to first of all prepare yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Prepare yourself.
Mentally.
Forget about all the goodies.
Also,
you know what I mean? Yes. And prepare yourself, equip yourself. If you're going to go to school, go there and do the best. The school I'm talking about, if you're going to learn a trade, then go and learn it to the best of your ability. If you're going to do academic, learn to the best of your ability. And have something, what a trade, or maybe you can have some kind of skill, a career that you can follow. Because now that you're young, take that path. Do that, prepare yourself, because that's part of the mindset.
Yes.
Where you'll come. I remember when we came, we had people who are our age, maybe a couple of years older than us.
Yes.
They already have houses.
Yes.
They have cars. But why would you come here? I'm not prepared to go and take a mortgage. Why would you come here not prepared to go and grab car? Because the longer you stay in this country, understand that the more problem you start to encounter. Because I give you an analogy where you come to the country, you're fresh. Say you have all your papers. Maybe you live in the basement. You don't have to pay maybe for 6 months. And then later on, you're paying. Where you live now, you actually pay $250 to contribute, right? Before, you never even had a car. You were catching the bus. So maybe you were working somewhere making $500. You're paying maybe every 2 weeks, you pay the $250. You still got $250. You have a cell phone, pay that. You don't have a car, you're catching the train. But mind you, now when you have a car, you have a car insurance. If you say you want big enough, you go get yourself an apartment, you pay more money. So those are the scenarios I give you. So the mindset here is that, you know what, I will take the route where I may get myself a smaller room or a smaller apartment. Don't worry about luxury cars. I don't have to have a house right now. Prepare myself, and then later on, now when you equip, you have the skill, and you're able to take a mortgage, or you decide I wanted to go into business, and I want to do something different. You can do it. And that's the mindset that I continue to try to ingrain in this kid. So I say, you know what? Don't worry about environment, because if you don't have the right mindset about equipping yourself, preparing yourself, making yourself, even if you were to go to California, then it means that the mindset you carry, because the place does not change anything. You will have to change. You can change the things around you once, your mindset. So it boils down to what you were saying about aligning yourself with the right people. And because the real truth is, you will also have adversities in your life.
Yeah, definitely. You will be faced with less challenges.
There will be tribulation. But if you're able to endure, if you're able to persevere, if you're able to, because the book says again that weeping may endure for a night, joy will come in the morning. What seed now are you planting so that tomorrow, as a young man, you will be able to reap? You know what I'm saying? So now work while it's day, because when night comes, you can work no longer. So those are the things that I try to instill in the kid. And I thought that at the end of our conversation, it was like he got it. It's like, oh, I see, because he was at the verge of trying to move because someone is saying that it's putting a disdain on the state.
Yes.
When in fact, this state has more schools.
Yes, of course.
This state has more roads.
Sure.
This state has a place of employment.
Ivy League school as well.
Exactly. So they going to California or going to Minnesota doesn't change anything. And that's why, like you said, some of us, because we knew exactly what we wanted, even though the challenges were there, we said, no, we're staying inspired. I left this state for about 2-3 months, where I messed up my driver's license. I dropped out of school. I lost all my dwelling place. I came back where I was staying in my car. Literally at one point in time. I couldn't go back to school, but I had to come back and face the adversity. So hopefully, if this kid or someone is listening to this, will be able to share with one kid, that's one young man. Because some people are even mature to come here, they get confused. They get into a rush where they want to get things done. Boop, 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 boop. But if you're not strategic I can tell you for a fact, with you don't have a strategic plan, like the book says again, write the vision, make it plain, take your time, be strategic, and hopefully, you know what I mean, things will definitely pay off in the long run. So if you have just tuned in, this is the We2r Liberians Movement platform, the platform where, it's all about mindset. We're not in the business of manufacturing players, pimps, and hustlers, but rather we're in the business of changing, revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only what we're all about is about changing the mindset, changing our thought process, because we believe that if we can change our mindset, we change our thought process, the things around us will change. And so, again, we have with us instituted today the one and only illustrious Mr. Nathaniel Herron, founder of Naya. It's great to have you. Thank you for your insight. Maybe one more, I'll give you an opportunity to just shed light on what will be your advice now for some young men who just, because as a new Liberian, I would say settlers in the U.S., the journey to success, most time it just begin with the right mindset. That's how I would say. I mean, it doesn't matter which state you land in, whether you land in California, again, I would say, whether you land in New York, you're in Iowa, it could be anywhere. You know what I mean? Just having the right mindset, I think, it puts you on the right path to success. So, Herron, just your last word, and then we'll try to see we can wrap this thing
Yeah, I
up.
don't have much to say. I could just tell this kid or any newcomer to these United States, um, one of the most important thing to do is to develop a positive mindset. The most introspective and socially conscious thing that you have to do in order to succeed in life is to have a goal. Life comes with so much challenges. Some in this country, my advice to the young man, you should be very strategic. You should make judgment that will benefit you today, tomorrow, and to the end time. Do not allow yourself to be dwindled in worldly pleasurable things, because these things don't last forever. One mistake in this country, you out. There are far-reaching and irreversible consequences for making mistakes in these United States. DUI, driving under the influence or driving while being drunk or whatever way they call it, is one of the things that can destroy and slow your progress down in this country. Do not drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. In other states, once you have those bad driving records, like reckless driving and stuff like that, like I say, it has far-reaching and irreversible consequences. Your insurance premium going to go up. Some insurance company may not be able to give you insurance. Secondly, when it comes to relationship-wise, they have so many beautiful women in these United States. Please, newcomers or the very young man that met my brother, see Ayiti Williams, that asked, which part of the United States you think would be good for me to go? Your girlfriend that you will have, make good choices. In a simple Liberian term, we say simple mistake, you out. You impregnate someone, and that person is not the right person, they will drag you to court and you pay that child support. If you're pregnant, if you have 2 or 3 kids, you will pay the price. So be careful how you make decisions. Be very, very much strategic. These are my parting words to the young gentlemen and the newcomers to these United States. Thank you.
Certainly a pleasure to have you on the show tonight. Our topic tonight was or is environment isn't just a place, it's a mindset. We said mindset is everything. If we can change our mindset, the things around us would change. I hope tonight's edition of the show was not only for that kid, because our going objective is hopefully to also speak to the moral conscience of especially newcomers and even those of you who have been here for some time now who are struggling, because the real truth, you know what I mean, Adversity is just part of life. I know we all will go through trials and tribulations. But if you are steadfast, if you're willing to work, if you focus and you're determined, I'm telling you, with the right mindset and the right alignment with the right individual, failure is no option. You will not fail, because failure is actually when you fail, you don't go back. You know what I mean, to try again and get it. And I will close by using Thomas Edison, who created or invented the light bulb. It was at the 1001. He had 1,000 failed attempts. We just want to use that before we close to say, oh yeah, you will come, you will be going through problems, and you will be tempted. You know, Mr. Herron just said, you know, don't allow yourself with people all over the place drinking. You know, it's not bad to be sociable, to go and socialize, but you have to be in the right place. And sometimes if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, man, you will have to pay that price. So thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much for your contribution. This is the We2r Liberians Movement. This is how we're going to draw this curtain tonight. And we pray that you have a good night, and we look forward to seeing you here next time. Until then, I'm your host, Ayiti Williams, and Mr. Nathaniel Herron. Thank you for coming in. Have a good night.
Have a good and golden night as well.
Thank you.
Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love, and give me shelter.